Records as an investment and FOMO. Stop investing in your record collection. You know what FOMO is? It's not a sexual transmitted disease. It's a fear of missing out. FOMO, the fear of missing out. This is something new to me over the last several years, and it's become a thing for record collectors, vinyl buyers, and it is a fobbed up concept. And the whole idea of as record collection as an investment in a way offends me. Now, having said that, I am guilty of all these things to an extent, but I'm to the point that I've been wanting to do a little bit of this is going to be a little bit of a rant video, a Mazzy's rant video on this, because the fear of missing out. Oh my God, there's a limited edition. There's only 1,000 copies. There's only 5,000 copies. It's $150. It's $120. It's super vinyl. It's super maxi vinyl. It's super maxi pad vinyl. It's the ultimate vinyl. It's the Beatles blue, red, green, splattered edition that you can't get anywhere else, only from the website or from this dealer or that dealer, or, a good example also is Record Store Day. Now, having said all this, I have invested into some of these concepts somewhat, but the whole idea as the value of your collection, obviously because of where we are right now in vinyl collecting, and those of you who add your records to Discogs know that your collection has increased in value, even if you don't do a thing. It just does. And it's kind of nice to put things in Discogs to get a barometer of what it's worth. If you want to sell it down the line, if you want to trade it, if your heir is your family, has to do some of the other collection, like me and my friends did on behalf of my friend Coleman's collection, and helped out his sister and kept a lot of it, sold some of it, and gave a lot of it away. So, but the whole idea of investment is really obscene to me. And this whole idea of buying some limited edition as a backup or as an investment and keeping copies sealed. I don't understand why people buy records and keep them sealed. Why do you need a backup? Look, I've had this collection for 50-something years. I started in 1964. And obviously, it initially was with my Beatle collection. And I bought all the Beatle records, 64 and 65, or my parents and myself through allowances. The first non-Beatle record I ever bought as an album, I did buy 45s before that, but was the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, Columbia Records. That was the first non-Beatle record. But the end of 65, when Rubber Soul came out, the American, let me show you this. Things changed a little bit for me. I do have multi-copies, so I want to talk. But, I have multi-copies not as an investment, because this is the reason why initially, these two albums, this is the American edition, full dimension stereo of Rubber Soul, and the mono version of Rubber Soul. I had the mono version first, and then I got the stereo version. Now, there's a song on here, I'm Looking Through You, track 3, side 2 on the American version. I believe it was the stereo. All of a sudden I got the stereo, and there's an added intro, a false start. Da-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, da-dun, dun. Da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun. I'm looking through you, where did you go? Oh, copyright strike. And all of a sudden, I got into this thing that I want to hear different versions of Beatles songs, and then other artists and other songs. And the reason I collected multi-copies starting in 1965 with Rubber Soul was because the different variations. I wasn't really into different pressings and mastering engineers. We didn't know anything about that. Nobody I knew looked in dead wax. It wasn't a thing. Now, of course, everyone's all in, or some people are. That's the inner part where you see who mastered the record, where it was pressed, all those details. But this really changed it, and I started getting subsequent Beatle records in mono and stereo, obviously, until Sgt. Pepper, including Sgt. Pepper, but that was my first, I bought that in stereo initially. And I actually prefer that, even though when you get original tube cut, oh my God, Sgt. Pepper rocks, but it's a psychedelic album in stereo. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about friends of mine, and I have friends, I'll admit it, that buy records to invest. They buy copies of Mobile Fidelity, of UHQRs, and they keep them sealed, hermetically sealed in a vault, hermetically sealed in their garage, hermetically sealed in their, wherever they keep them, hermetically sealed. I don't like that concept. I like the idea of curating a collection musically. And I said so many times, it's the music first. It's the music, the songs, the sound of the music. Now, if you want to, and the artwork, and if you want to, get variations, you buy it because there's a different cover variation, like the 2 Blind Faith album covers, or so many album covers that have various design flaws or something, like collecting a rare stamp that was mispressed or something. I kind of like that. I think that's really cool, and that's about a collection, but it should be about the music. And this whole thing of this fear of missing out, I've been afflicted by that. I pulled back. It's not as bad. A limited edition on Record Store Day where there's this one pressing, and you go there, and like I almost bought this new Nick Lowe record that came out on Record Store Day, and it was kind of on my list. I didn't really read about it. I grabbed it, and I looked on it, and it said, this basically is a different name for the same friggin' record, Jesus of Cool, and the American edition, Pure Pop for Now People, but all the tracks together. I have those albums. I don't need that. Now that's a little different. I don't think that's the rarest one, but all of a sudden there's this frenzy of this one's rare. So even if I don't like the music, I've never heard the music, some limited jazz, single batch origin, came from vinyl from the Andes, the top of Himalaya, to make this special edition record. And if I don't have it, I'm not part of the club or the scene. And again, a good example, probably in my case, probably the most extreme example, was this album, which I love, the Stooges' Funhouse. And I remember seeing a video up with a box opening. And I don't usually like unboxing videos, but I saw this, and I love this record. And I saw this, is it 18 LPs, 12 LPs of the Stooges' Funhouse sessions? And I just had to get it. So I ordered it. And it sold out the next day. And the next day was a release day, and I got it a week later. So I love it. Now, having said that, did I need all that volume of this one record? Maybe not. Probably not. But I enjoy this one. And I have made mistakes, right? The fear of missing out, FOMO, where I bought something and I regretted it. And that is dangerous. It's expensive. It's dangerous. Not healthy. It's not good in so many ways. Buy it because you like it. If you like that big box set, the Prince box, the Sign of the Times, oh my God, I love that. I love everything about it. The music, it's great. It's not just a retread. It's fully realized, wonderful records. But that whole idea of keeping something sealed to have a backup, who needs a friggin' backup? Let's see, I don't know. Okay, here's something. A couple copies, mono and stereo. Two stereos of an American, something new. 3 stereos. They're different labels, and I think one's a Wally cut, a mastering engineer, Wally Traugout, who did some great stuff. But something new. This is American edition. I have edition from the 1960s. That still sounds fabulous today. If you take care of your records, they last. You don't need a backup, especially these days if you have a good stereo. And I was putting this on a suitcase type of Magnavox pull-down turntable, and I take care of my records, and most of them are in immaculate condition. This one even has shrink wrap on it, and sound fabulous. So you don't need a backup, especially today. You're buying a record for a backup, really. If you're buying it to flip, that's one thing. Now, having said that, I did flip one record, but I don't consider it a flip because I kept it for 4 months and I didn't buy it to flip. That McCartney 3 limited edition, Third Man, pressed from recycled McCartney, copies of McCartney 1 and 2. I happened to wake up, looked on Instagram. It was for sale. I bought it. I didn't think it was $60. I sold it 4 months later for $2,600. So that's something that just happened. I figure if someone really wants it for that price, it's during the pandemic, all the records I bought for that money are music I love. various records. I was able to turn that one record, which I have multiple copies already in different colors, into great music for my collection, great curated music. Now, going back, there's something that hit me in 1973 that I discovered through my first record store manager. I don't remember his name, but him and his wife had come back from the Peace Corps, working the Peace Corps around the world, and he was managing a record store. And he said to me, Maslov, what I want to start and what I've been working on in terms of my record collection is a specimen collection. A specimen collection. What the hell is that? When I found out, that's kind of how I've curated my collection for the most part, especially from 1973 on, working in that record store. He wanted to pull records like the best of from classical, the best of world music from like the Non Such Explorer series of music from the Andes and music from Africa and world music, and Harry Smith's curated field recordings of old blues players in the South and the Black Hills of Kentucky yodelers and bluegrass players, and he wanted to get rock records and soul records and jazz records and create this great, almost like a Smithsonian or like basically a specimen collection. I took that to heart and I started buying more jazz. I started buying classical records, which if you saw my recent journey, early experience in the classical music, that's where it started, at that record store, through that Schwann catalog I mentioned in that video. That's where I started buying jazz records a little more, even though I had bought a couple starting in 1970. 73, I jumped in and got more. I started getting world music and Ravi Shankar. Well, Ravi Shankar again through George Harrison, the Beatles again. So the whole idea of a specimen collection interests me more than buying records as an investment. I like to buy new music. I like to buy old music. I like to be turned on to music. I do from people making these videos out there like you. I watch other people's music. I listen to things. I'm not a streamer, but I think that's the part of this collection. And this fear of missing out, in a way, is a dangerous thing, and it is a bit of an addiction. We have an addiction. Am I addicted to, in a way? Yeah. But that's not the way, in my opinion, to create a satisfying record collection. Investing, your collection as an investment it's not the stock market. There are better ways to invest to make money. You might hold on a record for 5 years and maybe you'll make $100-200 here and there. Once in a while you get lucky. Now, again, I look at my collection on Discogs. There's certain records that are worth a shitload of money that I didn't buy for that reason. And it's just because I've had them so long or I happen to love that record and like it. Now, I'm not going to just put it out to sell it at some point as I retire. Maybe. That's not what I'm talking about. The idea of flipping it or investing or putting that sealed copy away or that backup copy of that Mobile Fidelity or that UHQR or that limited edition, that one guy in England presses these electronic music, jazz and classical records because he works like he does a special one-step single origin process that no one around him can be 6 miles in any direction while he makes those 300 copies that you have to buy because you bought the first 10, and if you don't buy number 11, you're FOMA, the fear of missing out. That you have to have every library edition box set of UHQR that looks like the goddamn World Book Encyclopedia, or you have to have every color coded Music Matters jazz record. Now I have 70 Music Matters jazz records, but I buy them because of the music. They're over 100 or something. I don't have them all. I buy the records of the Tone Poets because of the music. The ones I don't buy, I don't buy. But I'm trying, and I think I've cured myself from FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. So put your comments below what you think. Do you have fear of missing out? Do you regret when you went for that thing? Do you keep records sealed just because you need a backup or because you want to flip them? Now, that's what I guess That's what it's all about for some people. All the power to them. But to me, the music is first, and I'd rather buy something new than buy the same copy just to keep as a backstock. Of course, I do buy separate copies, and of course, something new. See what I did there? Something new is something that I get, and again, I'm sure someone's going to find inconsistencies in my explanation here. But I just want this is a kind of a, again, I'm afflicted to a point, but I want to acknowledge it. So it's like one day at a time, speaking out about FOMO and curating our record collections and not in buying records as an investment. Buy them because you enjoy the music. Hey, Mazzy loves you. Let me know what you think.